My parents said with contempt, "You can never be like your sister." I stood up and replied, "Then tell her to, hello. I'm Stanley and this is my story. You'll never be as good as your sister." That was my father's voice, as hard as stone, dismissing me in front of our entire family as if I were a stranger at my own table. I stood, my chair scraped the floor with a sound that echoed through the room. I looked right at him, then at my mother, and finally at Emery the saint they worshipped. "Then tell her to pay all the bills," I said. My voice was steady. "I'm not sending money anymore." For the first time in many years, a heavy silence fell. My mother looked confused. "What money? We never got a single dollar from you." And there, it was the moment I had been waiting for, the crack in their perfect illusion. It started 6 years ago when my parents begged me to help keep the family afloat. Emery was away at college, living a life of luxury, while I was working 2 jobs, stacking hours until my body ached. They told me, "If you love us, you'll help." I wired money every month for rent, utilities, and medical expenses. I barely ate for years because I believed I was supporting all of us. They never said thank you, but I told myself that love didn't need gratitude. I believed that until the day I overheard my mother on the phone with Emery. "He's useless. He always will be. We can't rely on him for anything." I froze, my hands balled into fists, but I stayed silent. That was the first time I realized my money was being erased along with my worth. The pieces just didn't add up. The bills they showed me kept getting higher, yet nothing in the house changed. The roof still leaked, the light still flickered, but Emery always had the newest phone, the latest car, the most expensive clothes. Then I found an email. Emery had forgotten to log out of bank transfers. My transfers funneled into her account with notes like family support, emergency fund. Every dollar I sent wasn't keeping them afloat, it was funding her lavish lifestyle. They didn't just lie, they used me, and worst of all, they sneered at me while cashing in on my sacrifices. I didn't explode. Explosions fade too fast. I went cold. I stopped seeing myself as their son, their brother. I became their creditor, silent, patient, watching the debt grow. And while they thought I was still their obedient mule, I started making my moves. Step 1, gather evidence. I saved every receipt, every transfer, every email. 6 years of proof organized into neat, devastating files. Step 2, take control. I rerouted my paycheck, closed accounts they had access to, and froze the credit cards my name was tied to. And step 3, detonation. I waited until Emery was at the table, until both my parents were listening, until they sneered at me one more time. Then I cut them off in a single sentence. "I'm not sending money anymore." My mother's denial was almost laughable. "What money? We never received a single dollar." I cut her off, calm but sharp. "Check Emery's account." Emery's fork clattered against her plate. My father frowned. "What are you talking about?" I pulled my phone from my pocket and slid it across the table. On the screen were folder after folder of transfers, screenshots and bank logs with their names, their signatures, and her account. They leaned in and I watched the blood drain from their faces. 6 years of my sacrifices, laid bare in black and white, a 6-year betrayal that was no longer deniable. Emery's lips parted, but no words came out. She knew the game was over. My father finally spoke, his voice small, for the first time in my life. Why? Didn't you say something earlier?" I leaned closer because I wanted you to believe your own lie. I wanted you to sneer while you stole. I wanted this moment when the mask rips off and you see what you've done. Silence, heavy and suffocating, followed, and then I stood. Emery can handle the bills now, after all. She's the good one. I walked out that night and never looked back. They called and they texted, first with excuses, then with begging, and finally with threats. I never replied. The last message I received from my mother read, "We need you, please." But the truth is, they never needed me. Not really. They needed what I could give them. And now that the supply is gone, they are left with each other, the golden child and the parents who raised her to take. I'm free. They told me I'd never be as good as my sister. They were right. I'm better because, unlike them, I know the value of sacrifice and I know the power of walking away. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more real-life experiences, don't forget to like, share, and hit that subscribe button to join our family here on Home Exposed. Your support means the world to us.